Hello, all. It is Audrey with Movies and the Bible. If you are watching this, you and me are meant to be. And may God bless you. May He go before you, behind you, all around you, and give you peace. Sorry, my eyes hurting. Um, I've been trying to stay quiet for the longest time, maybe in about just current world events. Not saying much about it, but with all that's going on with um, immigration and in the black community, delineation movements or what's it called foundational black American, all that kind of stuff. I I asked God about this, and He just said to pray for peace, pray for peace, and there's nothing wrong with circling your wagons. There's nothing wrong with, kicking those out of your camp that are not on the same accord as you. And largely, I think personally, immigration isn't what it was 50 years ago. Largely, countries are stable. Of course, they still have those that aren't, which is why people come. But the ability to move around and travel is much easier than it's ever been before. And wanting a better life, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, with the illegal immigration that's going on, it just seems like too much of, you know, not a good thing. Everybody wants the land in which they stand on to be abundant and prosperous. In America, for a lot of people, is that, and so are other countries. But you know, when you're coming somewhere else, you know, you have to maintain the goodness of that space. I was gonna say it like that. And right now, let's not sugarcoat it. It's been a free for all in America for too long, and enforcing laws that are already in place and seeing if that works. I'm not seeing a problem with that. I don't have anything against anybody coming to America, but just like everything else, nobody likes when people don't do things the right way. And we can still have compassion. We can still care about other people, and it doesn't make sense to give when you have nothing to give. It doesn't make sense to put the cart before the ox with taking care of other people when you can't take care of yourself. So I do understand those sentiments. And as far as the FBA stuff, I'm not seeing a problem with that either. The more people come and look like you and aren't you doesn't make you hateful. You just, want to keep your identity yours, and I don't see a problem with that either. Not out of anything hateful. Like, it's just in the when I look at the Bible, like there's 12 tribes of Israel. You know, the tribe of Dan is not the tribe. Is not like the tribe of Reuben. They're two different things. They're the same. They're all Israel, but they're two different camps, and there's nothing wrong with that. You have fishermen over here, and they're doing something different over there. We fish, you hunt, kind of a thing. It doesn't make you better, doesn't make you bad. It makes you different, and there's nothing wrong to owning up your own identity and wanting to preserve that identity for yourself. I don't see anything wrong with that. So pray for peace. If you've been like me and like, what does God have to say about all of this, if He says anything at all to you? For me, the answer He gave me was to pray for peace for these people. And obviously, we don't want things to become lawless. If there's something wrong, let's fix it, and let's fix it with wisdom and love and compassion for people, not just not any type of hatred, which I think is in my view what's being shown. There's consequences for everybody's actions. You know, so of course, there's always some people that you know can scoot under the rug, and those that can't. But I want people to be mindful and prayerful and gracious towards other people, but at the same time, don't let anybody just run over you. And right now, what seems is what's been going on is just a lot of that, just a lot of people getting over, people cheating the system, not trying to work with the system and letting God make them a way. Um, that's just my purview, and we've all been there. We've all cut a corner or two. But at this point, when you have people, from somewhere else coming over and setting up shop and getting all of these benefits that are for that country's people, and then feeling entitled about it, that's wrong. That's wrong. And we should have limits to the help in which we give other people instead of our own. It doesn't make sense for you to give your family less than you would give a stranger. I'm just saying. America has its own, multicultural family, and if we can't give the best to ourselves, you know, who can we? Give the best to yourself, and your overflow, that abundance, can be shared with others, which is what America really does do for all the issues that America has. The abundance, the blessings in which God has given America, rightfully so, we should share them. But in this kind of instance, with all the illegal immigration and the problems that causes, all the undercutting and under the table, and people are literally having to run and hide, it, it's a form of fear. And what is that fear born out of? Not being right in your standing. So let's be mindful of that. And I pray for, a better and quick and more efficient path to citizenship for these people. Nobody should be in fear of, of the ground they walk on, well, no matter where that is in the world. But at the same time, let's use some common sense and let's be gracious, but and have some wisdom with all of these things. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to talk too long about any of it. But yes, let's use wisdom, let's use sense, and get things in a better order than what they are. So we aren't having people, a militarized force come out onto the streets to round people up that have been here and could have had a better way to stay here legally. Let's get things under control where we can help these people, you know, be where they want to be without, constantly looking over their shoulder. Nobody wants that. And as far as, the families and children involved, let's not have, you know, the children paying for their parents' sins. There's always collateral damage when, you know, parents can't necessarily get themselves in right standing. And so I pray for these families. I pray that they um, can get what they need to be in right standing with the laws, and that God take them up in that pathway of doing that. But that's all. Sorry for being so long-winded, but it was just on my heart for quite a long time to share. Um, and I hope that, the grace and peace of the Father, rest upon you if you're watching this. Thank you. Bye.